So today we are going to talk about TestNG options and parameters. Okay. When I say options, that means with your test case, what are different options and parameter you can pass. And we will talk about data provider also. These two topics are very important because when you are learning TestNG, we should know how to use it efficiently. This unit test framework, right? We should know how to use it efficiently, how to pass the parameters. There are a lot of things which we are going to see practically. So in last session, if you remember, we had this three test cases. Let's assume that we have just three test cases. Check one, right, which has priority 3, check 2, which is priority 1, check 3, which is priority 2. That means check 2 will be executed first, then check 3, and then check 1. Based on the priority number, this will be executed. See here in the console output, you'll be able to see which one is executed first. Okay. So as of now, if you see only test 3 is okay. Is there any problem? Let me check. We are saying test 3. This one is executed. Let me check if there is any issue. This is a test. Okay. Okay. Maybe because let me save it. I didn't save it. I'll run it. This is TestNG demo one, right? Right click here, say run as TestNG test. Okay, my bad. So now it's working, right? See here, test 2, test 3, test 1 is executed. Now, what are the parameters which you can pass here, or what are the options here? Let's assume you want to execute this particular test case 5 times. It's possible. You can here say invocation count. Invocation count is equals to 5. So what will happen? By default, every test case execute only once. Okay, if you are not providing that. But if you put invocation count is equals to this, so this particular case will be executed 5 times. Okay, let's run this. TestNG demo 1. Right. So if you see the output this time, we'll observe that check 1 is executed 5 times. See here. Correct. Fine. But you can enable or disable something. So if I don't want to execute this test case, I can say enabled is equals to false. Let's say for the debugging purpose, for anything, right? You want to disable it temporarily. You don't want to execute this, right, as of now with your test execution. So you can say enabled is equals to false. So this particular test case will not be executed. Rest of the things will be executed. Okay. So if I do right click and say run as TestNG test, if you will observe, test 1 is not executed. Fine. So enabled is equals to false. If you will make it enabled is equals to true, it will work again. But by default, enable is already like true. Okay. So you don't have to mention enabled is equals to true. I am just showing you that enabled is equals to false means don't execute. Enabled is equals to true means execute that, right? Fine. What are the other options we have here? Let's go to the official website of TestNG. So we should go to the documentation. Fine. Here, annotations are there. Okay. So they are providing you this things are there. And then there will be something which is this. Okay. Always run. So these are the options. If you will say always run is equals to true, so no matter, you know, um, how your execution is, this will be always executed. This data provider we are going to talk about later on. Groups, I'll talk about this. Wait. Depends on group and group. I'm going to talk about this. Enabled is equals to this. We have taught description. So you can provide a description for your test case. See here. Here with test case number 2, let's say check 2, I can say description. Description is equals to this is to check, or you can say it like this. Verify, forgot password, link is available in login page. Keep it very simple. In fact, don't put it like a very long descriptive thing. No. It should be very precise, very clear what you are doing with this test case. It's same as when you write manual test case, you give a description to that, right? That's why you can provide it here also. Now, if I will run this, let's see, is there any change? From the execution point of view, everything is still same. From the execution point of view, things are still same. Here in the TestNG icon, everything is still same. Um, is there any change in the output? Let's see. If I'll do refresh, I'll go here. I'll open this emailable report. No, nothing. So description, you are putting it. It may be helpful on for your own thing. Or if you are using some other kind of reporting mechanism, you can get that description in your report. That is possible. Okay. That is possible. But as of now, understand it, description is for your own information that what you are doing. And it's a good practice. It's a good practice to put description. Enabled, we talked about expected expectation, exception. We should not, use it frequently, because exception we can handle in other ways also. We will talk about what are different exceptions. One Selenium code can have. Okay, so in Selenium automation, what kind of exception can come? Groups, that let's see now. Let's see the groups part, but I'm checking what is the other things. Thread pool size, the size of thread pool for this method. The method will be invoked from multiple threads. Invocation, the attribute is ignored if invocation count is not specified. Okay, we'll talk about this thread pool size. Don't worry. Now, before that, the most important thing is grouping. So let's assume that this check number 3, you want to keep it as smoke test or sanity test. So what you can say this comes under group. This comes under, and you have to put it like this. This comes under sanity test. Okay. And this is also sanity. Or let's keep this one as sanity and this check 1 and check 2 as regression cases. right? So here I'll say comma group is equals to, you have to keep it in like curly bracket and in double quote regression. One test case can be part of two different groups also. It's possible. So this case can be, okay, let me put it like this. This case is both. It's a sanity test case also. It is a regression case also. It's possible, correct? And second number test case, you can put it here also. So here, the second number test case is only regression. Okay, so I will say group is equals to here. I will say only regression. Okay. So how we are doing? The first test case, this one, check one, is regression and sanity both. Second test case is only regression. Third test case is only sanity. Fine. If you will execute it, nothing will matter because you are not saying what to execute. All the test cases are executed, everything is working fine. Okay, fine. But how to then say that, hey, execute only regression, execute only sanity? That will be part of your XML file. So in your XML file, this TestNG XML, you have to mention what you want to execute. Right? Let's create a new one. So TestNG demo, go to your file and say TestNG and say convert to TestNG. So this will generate you one XML file. Okay. I'm doing it right now. And cancel. What it is saying that there is already one TestNG file. So we'll give a name, new name. TestNG, convert to TestNG. Can we change the name? I am checking. Yeah. Here, let me give a name as release TestNG, something like this. Or TestNG 2. Simple, TestNG2.xml. You can give your own name, like what kind of name you want to give. Okay, done, finish. Once I did it, I'm able to see, and you can make it explicitly also. Now here, you can say that what group you want to execute. Here you can say what kind of group you want to execute. Okay, so when I say groups, so it is asking me like which group you want to include and exclude, which group you want to include or exclude. Just for the correct syntax, let me go here and check. I want to check actually, yes, this is the syntax. When you say group, you can say what to include and what to exclude. So I'm copying this. Hold on. Run is the tag. So here I will say inside the group that run, don't do this thing. You will say include name is equals to sanity. Include name is equals to sanity. Now, if you will execute this, only the sanity test case from TestNG demo 1 will be executed. If you'll observe here, check 3 and check 1 is only executed. Why? Because check 3 is the part of sanity and check 1 is also part of sanity. Okay. That's why if you will see the result, only test 3 and test 1, this check 3 and check 1, 5 times it is executed because we have put invocation count is equals to 5. Fine. So this is executed. Regression is not executed. If you observe that regression case, the pure regression, this one is not executed. Fine. So if you will say regression, it will execute only regression. So here I will say regression. Now if I will execute, you will observe that only the regression cases will be executed. Okay. And if you see this time output, test 2 and test 1 is executed. Test 3 is not executed because test 3 is purely sanity. There is no regression here. Okay. Fine. Can you make one group to be depends on another group? It's possible. So let's create more test cases. Let's create more test cases. Just one test case, actually, because it's a very simple concept. You will get to know what I'm saying. Let's assume there is one more test case which has priority 4, and it comes under smoke, right? Smoke test. This is check 4. Okay. And that will print as of now this test 4. So what I'm saying is, let's assume you want to execute smoke test only if all the sanity test cases are passed, right? Which is not the practical case, right? Because generally smoke test we do first, then sanity, then regression. Or let me make it something different. Hold on. Let me make it regression only, so that we'll not confuse about why. Let me think about it. So let's assume that we want to execute regression cases only when sanity is all passed. Sanity is passed. So if you think that this particular, let me first of all, change it to invocation count 1 because it is creating confusion. If you want to say that execute the regression only when sanity is passed, correct? Otherwise, skip it. So here, wherever you have regression, you can say depends on group. Which group? It depends on sanity. It depends on sanity. So all the test case, if you want to put, dependency, then only put it. Otherwise, don't do this thing. Right? It's you. If you want to use it, you have to use it very carefully. So this is my regression. So wherever there is a regression, I want to say it depends on the sanity case. If sanity case is passed, then only execute my regression cases. It's like this. This is pure sanity. Here also I will say it depends on the sanity cases. Now you cannot execute this. You cannot say only execute regression. No. This time you have to make some other XML file without saying that I want to execute only group. The idea behind putting depends on is like you want to execute everything, but you want to execute regression only when sanity is passed. It's like this. Okay. So now I'll be executing as of now the whole class here. So I'll say right click, run as TestNG test. So if you will see here, there is some error it is saying. It's fine. Let's see what error it is saying. It's fine to have the error. There is saying have cyclic dependency. That means one case is dependent on another, second test case is dependent on something else. So it's saying there is problem with the check one. There is a problem with the check one. You are putting both the things simultaneously, right? So it's better as of now, I'm deleting it. And priority wise also, you have to understand that, this should not contradict about your saying sanity should be passed, then regression should be checked, right? So you have to use it very carefully. This time, if you see, we have executed it. Check 3 is executed first, then check 2, then check 1, then check 4. Okay. Now, let the sanity case failed. Let it fail so that everything will be clear. Okay. So let one of the test case to be failed. Let me make this fail. So I'm just explicitly failing it. Okay. So assert true, and I'm passing false. Don't, so okay, this is the way, like I am just saying that you assert this value to be true, but it is actually getting false, right? So this test case is going to get failed. Now if I will execute, I'll say run as TestNG test. If you see here, check 3 is executed. It is getting failed. But because of that, all other test cases are skipped. If you'll see the output, pass 0, there is no passed because we made the check 3 to be failed. Then, because all other test cases are depending on the sanity to be passed, right? It is getting failed. So what is happening? All other test cases are skipped, not executed. Skipped means there is no issue with the test case. There is generally no issue with the test case. The issue with the dependency, that you are saying that if this is failed, don't execute other cases, other groups. It's like this. Because we only saying that this particular test case, check number 2, is depending on whether sanity is getting passed or not. So it's very clear. It will be skipped if this test case will get failed. Okay. Fine. In the same way, you can mention depends on method also. You can mention depends on method also. Let me actually copy this so that I'll tell you in a fresh example so that, things will not get messed up. Here, let me do something now. I don't worry about priority and all. Let me delete all these things. I don't want this. I don't want all these things. So we simply have 4 test cases as of now. And so here we have 4 test cases. I can say that check 2, okay. Here we have already failed it, right? So let's say I want to say check 4 depends on check 3. It's possible. You can say depends on method, and it depends on which method? Check 3. Save it. So in this way, you can put the dependency, irrespective of group. You can put the dependency that if check 3 will be passed, then only execute check 4. Because this test case depends on the check 3. And it is a very practical scenario. For example, this will be a login case. So if login test case is passed, then only, execute other test cases which you are checking for your other pages. Correct? Very practical one. So this is helpful if you want to keep your test case one by one, you want to execute. If this test case will fail, then you don't want to execute the further functionality. Correct? You can say depends on method. Let's execute this and you will see that check 1, check 2 will be executed, check 3 will be failed, and check 4 will be skipped. So what it is saying this time? Total number of test cases executed 4, failure 1, skip 1. How it is? It's like this. It's saying that test 3 is executed, test 1 is executed, test 2 is executed. Then check. So these two are passed. These two are passed. This is failed. And because of this, check 4 is skipped. If you'll see this report, you will get to know. It's saying that check 1, check 2 is green. Check 3 is blue. That means it is failed. And check 4 is skipped. Okay. If you go to the only failed test case, it will tell you that only check 3 is failed. If you'll go to the summary, it will tell you everything that what happened, like timing wise, what happened. Okay. If you'll see this report, it's saying passed 2, failed 1, skipped 1, right? It is showing you basic detail about what happened with your overall test class or the test suite. Done. So that is about the options we have. There is parameter also that I want to show you just in the next session. And it is very important how to pass the parameter and all.